Hello everyone, welcome to xfactortrader.com's technical analysis video. Let's get right into these charts, guys. Let's start off with the SPY. Right now the SPY is into some really important support. Look at this previous resistance. It consolidated for many days over this area, really pretty much roughly at, let's see, at the 184.85. So we're there right now. We made a nice narrow candle on pretty decent volume. So, this is a sign of indecision at support, gap fill. There's some pretty good factors here. 25% retracement as well. And once again, it's gap fill and 25% retracement and all this consolidation period here. So, and you're into a time count as well. So it looks like to me it's due for a bounce. We're not quite oversold yet on a stochastic, but to me, that's enough clear signals to show that there's at least a little intraday bounce, at least for a day or two, coming up. And it could start as soon as Monday, okay? So let's see how that plays out. Let's go on a 60-minute chart. You actually consolidated that gap fill, so it is a little weak now at the moment, but, the 200 is rising into that level. So I anticipate if this doesn't hold, if that does not hold, you have 183.80. So tomorrow, day traders, look for that tomorrow for a bounce for sure at a nice flush to the 200 moving average on the 60-minute chart. Let's go to 10-minute chart really quick and see if there's anything else. Pretty much downtrending on a 10-minute chart. We are oversold on the stochastic on a 10-minute, so it could be due for a short-term bounce soon. Okay, and it's also telling me that on a daily time frame as well. Okay, we already had pretty much a time count factored in here, so I am expecting a bounce as soon as tomorrow. Okay, another factor for that. Let's go to XLF. Let's go to the financial index sector. You can see that the XLF is also into this previous resistance, now should be support. With these two moving averages, that's got to at least hold up the stock here. Price should hold here around 2170-ish area, and your gap fill is just below that. So in this general vicinity, I am expecting a bounce in these overall indexes. Let's look at the Qs very quickly. Qs also, I believe, I'm sorry, not QID. Oops, that's actually the inverse ETF. Let's go to the Qs. And yes, that's right into the 50 moving average, pretty much right into that area right now. So, these indexes are into some pretty decent support. So you have to respect that and expect for the market to minimally just pause here and might get a slight bounce. It's also the 618 Fibonacci as well, so from this pivot low. So let me see if I did that correctly. Let me pull that back. It's actually probably 382, let's see, and as you see, it's coming into a 382 retrace. So I grabbed that fib the wrong way, but the 382 retrace is coming up right here, guys, at the 8840 level. So look after support right there on the Qs as well. And the IWM is a leader at the moment. It actually bounced on Friday, so I am anticipating the markets will. Let's see if that will come to fruition with the other indexes and see if they catch up and start to bounce tomorrow. Okay, but right now I believe the futures are flat, and we'll see how that all plays out. The Qs right now are into this previous resistance at the moment. Okay, so it's making a nice inside bar into gap fill. So I'm anticipating a few-day bounce in the coming days, even though we're not oversold at the moment yet, just based off the stochastics, but based on other factors, proprietary factors that I am looking at, the market should bounce here in the next coming days. Okay, so let's look at some of these other stocks. Went over some of the indexes. Let's look at Apple. Apple has some clear resistance overhead right now. And the main reason why is because it hit the 618 Fibonacci retracement. If you look at the more macro pattern, after this retracement, if you go all the way back, scroll back to Hands of Time, after this big down move, it's retraced 61.8% of the move. Okay, and that's showing major resistance ever since it hit that spot. It's been pulling back, consolidating, and if it clears this trend line right here, it's already hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So anytime it could break it on the next test. But right now it is below moving averages. Right now the 50 and the 200. I'm sorry, the 20 and the 50. It's below those. So for me, for touch Apple, this is your spot. The 200 moving average. Never actually had a real test of it. Almost got there here. But if you come down here in the coming days, I mean, these are small pivots with, but there's no other factors here. See how I trade as xfactortrader.com CEO and chief market strategist. You got to pinpoint multiple factors, right? And right now, this is just one single factor, right? Or the pivot. So that's not going to be strong enough. Even though this gap fills just below it, you're going to look for something more solid. Like this is a more solid pivot. $500 even number, 200 moving average. That is your spot for a swing trade for a day or two. If you actually grab, a Fibonacci as well from, let's say, this pivot here, you can add another fourth factor right here. It's also a 61.8 Fibonacci right there at the 200 moving average. So that's going to be a fantastic spot right there. So right at the 500 level, pierce of it, any close below that pivot, you can just get out. But Apple's looking pretty weak at the moment, just closing sharply below these 2 moving averages, okay? So it did hit major resistance, okay, on the bigger time frame, the 618. So that needs to consolidate. It needs to consolidate much more. Let's look at the weekly chart as well. And you got an inside bar, see how it hit the top of this bar, this red bar, and pulled back, and now it's kind of making a little bearish flag. Let's see, it might hit that level, 500. See, that's going to be a very important spot, okay, guys? And also the 50-week moving average is rising just below that level. Okay, let's look at Twitter. Twitter's looking very weak at the moment right now, Twitter. Let's go to the daily chart and look at this, pretty much just after this gap down after earnings, and pretty much, went right into these dual moving averages and it's just kind of just slowly fading here. And this candle is getting pretty ugly right here as we close below support. Volume looks like it could continue to increase here, but we have to see how it plays out. Right now, the $50 level is your support. I mean, I wouldn't touch it, right at the moment. Maybe it's $50. You could try it as a double bottom play, but right now, look at these moving averages. It's just kind of downtrending now, so you have to be very careful with Twitter at the moment. Nothing great I am seeing on Twitter. Okay, let's go to Costco. Costco's also looking very weak here. Let's look at Costco really quick on a daily time frame. You got a lot of inside bar patterns here. You got an inside bar, and you also have a very, very major trend line. You got 2 major trend lines. It's pretty much just riding right on there right now. If we go back, scroll back to Hands of Time, this trend line, this accelerated trend line is pretty much what's holding this stock up. I mean, if you look at it, how many touches it's had in its past, and it's just riding, pretty much making a bear flag right on it. Okay, so if that breaks, watch out for the downside. This measured move could take you to about $100. Okay, guys, to 95 and 96, where these pivots after the measured move, that's where it could be headed. Okay, so watch this trend line. That's going to be very important. Let's go to the monthly chart, and you would just obviously confirm that as this bear flag is forming. It is above uptrending on the monthly chart, but any more candles that consolidate sideways this way could break that 50. I'm sorry, the 20-month moving average. So just watch out for that. Notice it's just riding it beautifully, but now you're actually going into it and making a sideways base. So that could be bad news for Costco in the coming weeks, coming months. Okay, let's look at JCP. I think we'll close on that very fast. I've been calling the bottom on this at $5, and sure enough, I think the long-term blow is in. Pretty much this stock has just been beaten, to no end. And when everyone gets negative about a stock like that much, I start to go the opposite way. And I've been telling all my colleagues and friends that this is the time to pick it up around $5. And sure enough, now it's $8.71 a share. I think you might get another chance for you got a low here, you got a lower low, and it maybe has one more chance to make a higher low here. So that could be your entry. See how these moving averages, you got the golden cross right here. So that would be a great spot to enter for an entry on JCP. As this starts to curl up, these moving averages, if it makes a nice pattern into that, that's your spot to enter right now. There's nothing to do. I'm not going to chase it right here on JCP. Okay, at the moment. Okay, I think just want to do a quick update for you guys tonight. I'm very pleased to announce that we just launched a brand new website called xfactortrader.com. We've offered 3 services, and right now we are giving up a free 15-day trial, and that's available for you guys for the taking. Sign up for it, make some money, test it out, give us a try, and make some money. That's all you got to do. And just go over to the website. There's 3 different services, and they're there for the taking. Okay, guys? I will talk to you guys later. Have a great evening.